AMD's Financial Analysts Day 2025, they naturally talked about money and how well they're doing. In fact, they're doing very well. Revenue is up, profits are up, and margins are up. And AMD also talked about the data center. TAM, total addressable market, currently $200 billion US dollars. In the next 5 years, they expect it to increase to $1 trillion US dollars. And why might that be? Well, guess what else AMD was talking about?
And increasingly, you see AI everywhere. Ensuring that AI goes across every aspect of our product portfolio for the technology market, AI overall. We've actually added its high performance in AI computing, but we're really seeing AI diffuse through all aspects of the business, including it at the edge and in the client world.
Shockingly, some of us are less interested in AI and more interested in other PC technology, and thankfully AMD gave a small insight into some of their upcoming technologies. So let's take a look at what they talked about. Would you just take a look at the schedule for that Financial Analysts Meeting? It runs for over 4 hours. Albeit including a very short break in the middle. That's 10 presentations by 8 presenters, over 200 slides. We're not interested in almost any of that. We're going to look at a mere 12 slides. The reason being, financial analysts are interested in promises made in the past by a company against delivery, and that leads to stability if the company has made good on their promises. And that further means that if a company makes promises today, it's more likely to deliver on those promises in the near future. We, of course, are far more interested in the technology. However, we are also interested in the health of AMD. It matters that we have competition. Nvidia, as we know, is going gangbusters. Intel's had all sorts of trouble. AMD really matters to us. Let's jump to the presentation by Jack, who is the boss of everything that is Ryzen and Radeon. As AMD says, they're leading the gaming and AI PC era, and there's no denying that AMD processors are more popular than Intel processors on the desktop. And you can see that they have done very nicely in recent years. In 2024, client and gaming revenue 9.6 billion, estimated for this year 14 billion. That's a very significant amount of growth. On the consumer side of things, they have top-selling gaming CPUs and the most powerful AI processor in the market, which would be Strix Halo. On the enterprise side of things, they got workstations tied up with Threadripper and with EPYC. And the result for AMD is that client momentum is on the rise. Client being client computing, i.e. this part of AMD. Revenue is on the rise. Client processor average selling price is on the rise, which obviously for us customers sounds bad. But in this context does not mean processors are getting more expensive. It means that the processors people are buying are more expensive. Instead of buying a Ryzen 5, you buy a Ryzen 7. Instead of a Ryzen 7, you buy a Ryzen 9. Client PC revenue share is also very healthy, but I think we can all deduce from that figure that Nvidia is taking the lion's share of the money. On the console side of things, AMD is absolutely on a roll. Xbox and PlayStation belongs to AMD. They've got a healthy number of handhelds. The wording for graphics is somewhat cautious. The best mainstream gaming GPUs. Another way of putting that would be to say, yes, there are AMD GPUs on the market, but we all know that Nvidia rules the roost. And then we have mention of AI. In this case, AI PC compute. With APUs, you have a combination of CPU and GPU and access to lots of system memory. Phoenix and Hawk lie in the past. Strix and Kraken are the current hardware. And then we see Gorgon and Medusa. I refer here to a Moore's Law is Dead video from March of this year, so about 6 months ago. And you can see that Medusa is Zen 6. According to Tom at Moore's Law is Dead, we expect to see a shift to 12-core chiplets, which means that APUs will likely become 12-core rather than 8-core. And the top end of the product stack, where we have Medusa Halo, is expected to have 2 12-core chiplets, i.e. 24 cores. And we move on to Mark Papermaster's presentation, Mark being the Chief Technology Officer at AMD. Looking at CPU cores, we are of course currently on Zen 5 and we're waiting for Zen 6. And we note an industry first 2nm process, which we are confident will be TSMC's N2P, and that debuts their gate-all-around technology. I think it's safe to say that Intel might dispute this being the first 2nm process, but let's park that thought. Again, referring to Moore's Law is dead, we're told that Zen 6 will have a brand new I/O die which will use a 4nm process. Papermaster also says that Zen 7 will come on a future node. We're quite confident this will be TSMC A14, so approximately 1.4nm. A14 is planned to use the second generation of gate-all-around transistors, but will not use the backside power feature that Intel is already rolling out. We're not expecting TSMC to use backside power until 2029. You can also see that Zen 7 will have a new matrix engine and an AI data format expansion. We're confident this is aimed at EPYC rather than at Ryzen, and is likely a new instruction set that will better support machine learning with MI graphics. On the GPU side of things, we're currently on Ryzen RX 9000. The next gen of graphics you would think would be RX 11000, but who can possibly say? And the key features are listed as next gen AI and ray tracing. On the server side of things, the presentation was given by Dan McNamara. AMD has done incredibly well with their EPYCs over the past few years, but note, we have the current 5th generation Turin and the next generation is Venice. There's no mention of Zen 6 and certainly no mention of Zen 7. Anyone seeking technical information would have been bitterly disappointed by this presentation, but as stated, this is all about money. And arguably the easiest presentation of the day was the one given by Jean Hu, Executive Vice President, Chief Financial Officer and Treasurer at AMD, and also deliverer of good news. The numbers are absolutely stunning. Not in Nvidia's league, of course, but compared to previous AMD, this is all good news. You'll note next to 2025 there's an E for estimated because we're 3 quarters into the year, 1 quarter still remaining, so the figures might change. Every aspect of their business is going gangbusters, and of course they're looking at that enormous data center TAM, currently $200 billion, due to grow they claim to $1 trillion, and they want a slice of that enormous pie. It's worth noting with their accelerating revenue growth slide, over the next 3 to 5 years they're saying the core business is due to grow by greater than 10%, but data center is due to grow by over 60%. So overall AMD is due to grow by 35%, and sadly we can see that data center is far more important to AMD than their core business of client and gaming. News about Steam's new hardware dropped the day after these financial presentations, but they played absolutely no part in the proceedings. It's quite easy to see how AMD could have talked at length about the specification of the Steam machine to demonstrate how their processor technology has a very long lifespan. Steam machine will launch in 2026 using a semi-custom Zen 4 chip with RDNA 3 graphics. In other words, it is not going to be cutting edge, and yet the product looks absolutely fascinating. However, this is clearly a complete distraction in a world where data center is far more important than their core business. And as we can see, the day after these presentations, AMD's stock price took a very healthy uptick, and that is the reason why Dr. Lisa Su is entirely justified in looking incredibly happy with herself, and also for AMD's prospects.